Welcome back, RoundTable family, to another exciting episode of the Sports RoundTable Trio Edition. I'm your host, Rowdy, of course, as always, joined by my co-host, Little Bro Coop and Big Boy. And then we got the man four weeks in a row now, the Iowa Hawkeyes, Kobe, Adam, Sherry.
Sniper
Draft
gang.
week coming up. We got a packed episode. Joining us here next 5 minutes or so is going to be the man, Eric Henry. We got some questions for him when it comes to the UT football spring game and some basketball portal update. It is a wild time in the portal world for men's basketball, right? Women's too. Haley Van Lith going to TCU, leaving LSU. The Cavender twins both going back to Miami.
They're both going?
Yeah, the one's leaving TCU. The one that's dating Jake Ferguson. We'll see if they can do long distance now.
But she's dating Jake Ferguson?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yep, the best player on the Cowboys. But
hey man, he put my fantasy team on his back, so I don't even care.
He's a stud.
Dork football.
We got some UFC 300 recap, little start cut bench again, Coop's favorite. And then, I know Kobe's got a little Josh Allen talk. And, we're going to have to talk about a person who played for the team that is on Kobe's hat as well, that was just drafted number 1 recently. We were talking about on text today. So we got to bring it to the pod and talk about the Nike shoe deal that just got signed. So, but before all that, how are we doing?
Big boy.
I just want to say, boys, I'm happy to be here. I've been waiting. I've been waiting for a week. So
yeah, happy to have you back, man. I like this having Kobe on every week type thing.
I don't. I think he should be here for about the 10 minutes, and then I'm playing Kobe. I love you, man.
Well, I think your logo sucks. So
okay.
Well, so
I like that blurry thing you got there.
Which I get that I should be doing this after show. How do you get a background? Help me out, dude.
I'll coach you through it, bud.
Yeah, Big Boy's the background king.
What kind of background do you want, Cope? What's the first one you're gonna rock?
I don't know, man. I'm thinking the Texans.
How about that ugly ass Texans helmet that came out today? I hope that's not the. You like it?
It's an alternate. It's.
I hope so.
We're still pretty sure that we might have one more.
I hope the leak isn't the same thing. That's actually.
I was thinking it. I think it was. To me, it's that's a joke. Hey, they made that helmet, but that's not really. I don't think they'd release it like that.
No, that's the actual one.
That's been confirmed.
Yes. I trust me on this. I follow all of the Houston sports stuff, and yeah.
I don't know if I like it. I don't know.
So at first I didn't, but for some reason I do now. The H, I get why people wouldn't like it, but that's the blue that we wanted. So
that ain't the H is. I'm not a fan. I really think they could have done. They should have kept the bull is one of the coolest logos there is.
Yeah, me personally, I was hoping for a white helmet with some type of horns right here.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like that's
I don't know.
It looks like the USFL helmets or something.
It kind of does, actually.
I'm not impressed.
I'm interested to see how. I'm pretty sure our main helmet is still blue. We're gonna wear our red helmets a lot more.
The red, I like the red.
I like the red.
I'm interested to see how often we wear those because I don't know.
Hopefully, once every 3 years.
In which jersey? I don't.
Well,
I think it's fake. Jerseys, I think that's a smoke screen. I hope.
Well, they're coming out with more jerseys too, right?
Yeah.
Not just the helmet; it's everything, right?
It's next week, right? Isn't it a week from?
Right, yeah,
yesterday or something.
the
It's a
day
couple
before
before the
the
draft, I think.
Yeah,
draft.
we're exactly a week from now, probably when the second overall pick probably be happening. No one cares about the first overall pick. Everyone knows what's coming. Apparently, everyone knows what's coming with the
Could
second
you
overall pick
imagine?
now too. Apparently, old Jaden Daniels is the outright favorite now, but we'll see. We're gonna
Mistake.
Wow.
And that's Washington. Who got number 2?
yeah, Washington.
I don't know about that.
That would be a good fit, though.
Oh
So-
yeah.
But you think he's the best one next outside of Caleb Williams?
No, I don't.
Okay, exactly.
My
What's up,
man.
Eric?
What's going on, fellas? Sorry, I had
What's
the
up?
mic muted here. I chose a horrible time to start doing some laundries. Hopefully, y'all don't hear the washing machine in the background. What's going on, fellas?
Oh, how's
The
it
boss
going?
man.
We, of course, the man, you know, if you watched us before, he's been on plenty of times now, but joining us is Eric Henry, senior writer over at Horns 24/7. Looks like I'm trying to remember that looks like a new place over there.
Yeah. So guess what, fellas? I had to make a move. As much as I loved, the downtown spot y'all came through. Here's the thing I learned about downtown Austin. The rents go like this, and they were gonna an unnamed apartment that I was living in. They were looking to raise the rent $450 on me a month. So I decided to make a move. So I'm about 10 minutes away. If y'all are familiar, I'm still learning my way with like the neighborhoods and whatnot. So I don't have neighborhood names, but if you're familiar with like Southwest Parkway and William Cannon, that is
Nice.
That's where I'm at now. So
It's a good area.
yeah, it's pretty cool over here. So
There
new
we go.
spot.
During the season, you're not even there anyway, so it doesn't.
And yo, Coop, that was the thing. For as dope as the apartment was downtown, y'all saw the view. Like
Never there.
I'm never there,
Never
so
there.
yeah.
There we go. Well, we'll get it kicked off and started. We know we got a little bit of your time tonight. We appreciate you
Yeah.
joining us. But kind of getting going, obviously, spring game this weekend, hopefully happening if the weather stays clear in Austin. We'll see what happens there. But kind of what are your thoughts just on the overall roster going into the spring game this weekend? And what position as of now would you like to see Sark add post spring ball?
It's funny you mentioned that because it's actually what I wrote for Horns 24/7 today, coming out of player availability. We had corner Manny Muhammad, DT, AC, Alfred Collins, and Baron Sorrell were the players who made available today. And the big thing, guys, as far as the spring for me is, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I counted 13 players from last year's team who started multiple games. So maybe not full-time starters, but started at least 2 games or more. You're bringing back that experience. And then you kind of take a look, excuse me, guys, it's allergy season. You kind of take a look at the receiver room, right? You got Isaiah Bond, you got Matthew Golden coming in. So those are spots that are kind of solidified. You still have Silas Bolden's going to come in the summer. Amari Neblack, he's coming in. You're pairing him with Gunnar Helm. So that's kind of more or less solidified. And then the back end at safety, you get an Andrew Makuba. That's pretty well filled in. So for me, really, this entire spring wasn't about the starters. I think the main starting position that's kind of up for grabs in my mind is that right tackle spot, right? We'll see what happens there with Cam Williams and some of the other guys. Do you slide Hayden Connor out? We'll see how that kind of shifts around. For the most part, it's not really a matter of who's going to be starting as much as where they're going to be. Is Anthony Hill going to be inside at Mike, or is he going to be outside? where's Andrew Makuba going to be? Where are certain guys going to be? So for Saturday's spring game, for me, it's all about the young guys, man. It's all about the depth. It's all about Tia Savea. I'll give you a young DT whose name keeps on being repeated by whether it's Steve Sarkisian or a lot of the players. Alex January, true freshman from Duncanville. Apparently, he's having a really good spring. Jalen Gilbo is back from his 2022 injury, right? Where is he going to be, right? So you got guys like him. So the big thing that I'm just really looking at for Saturday is just the depth, man. It's just looking with some of these guys, some new guys, Colin Simmons, of course, coming in. How's Ryan Wingo going to look? But even, guys who you haven't seen in burnt orange and white, like Trey Moore and some of the transfers. So that's really the thing in my mind. And really quick, you'd ask me about a position I'm kind of keeping an eye on. And I can't, this had been my thing since the season ended. the defensive tackle spot, and this is my case. You're not going to replace T'Vondre Sweat and Byron Murphy. It's not going to happen, right? Their level of play last year was so far and away better than, the rest of defensive tackles in the nation. You just aren't going to replace that. My question is this: can you get 80% of what you got from Sweat and Murphy via AC, Vernon Broughton, Tia Savea, Alex January, Sadir Mitchell, Jere Bledsoe, Aaron Bryant? I mean, you're going to play 5 and 6 defensive tackles per game. That's just the rotation, right? So can I get 5 or 6 of those players to make up 80% of what Sweat and Murphy was? That's what I'm keeping an eye on, because I think that's going to be crucial.
Yeah, and you mentioned I'm really excited to see what the new guys bring. But with that being said, Quinn Ewers, man, he's coming in to year 3, coming into the SEC. He's gotten better each year. He's up for the Heisman race even before the season starts. But what do you see from Quinn? What have you seen from Quinn this spring that sets him up for success that's expected from him?
I think just fact, and this is a cliche answer, Coop, but third-year quarterback, man. Like, let's just run down the list, and this is kind of my thing on Quinn, and maybe because, you guys know I'm not a Texan, I didn't grow up here. I got to the beat last year. So I think I've got a little bit of a 10,000-foot view in my mind as far as Quinn Ewers. You get all the talk of Arch Manning coming in, or is Malik Murphy the option? People forget that Quinn Ewers was 24/7 Sports, the publication I work for, #1 overall recruit in the nation. So it wasn't like he wasn't rated just as high as Arch Manning. And I'm not saying that Arch is just a byproduct of his name or anything like that. I'm just saying, if you just go just based on the rating system, Quinn Ewers is that guy in terms of his overall ability. Year 1, we know what happens. He comes in, he battles for the job with Hudson Card, wins the job, has an up and down year. Year 2, in my mind, that was the year that we saw Quinn take another step in his development. I think the big thing for him is staying healthy, of course. And I just wrote that, so the number is fresh on my mind. Only 67 FBS quarterbacks last year played in every game they were available to start, right? Quinn Ewers was not one of them. So the big question in my mind is, with him bulking up to the 205 pounds, can he stay healthy? But yeah, man, I just think third-year quarterback, third year in the system, this is the year that quarterbacks, you take that, you see the potential in year 2. Year 3 is the one where the offense is their own, and they take command of the offense. The only question I have, and this is something I don't want to, create something out of thin air, but this receiver room is really deep. And just my perspective, you can't have the type of relationship and the type of, rapport on the field with every single receiver. That's just not possible, right? When you're running ones, you're eventually going to develop your trust in guys who you're going to throw the ball to. Really, you just want to see Quinn, and he's a guy who's very open when you talk to him post-game about he likes to spread the football around. So how does that kind of manifest itself, right? Does he find a guy where is Isaiah Bond that guy he's going to 10, 11, 12 times per game? Or is it a situation like last year where he truly is just playing the offense and spreading the football around and everyone's kind of eating? We'll see how that works, but I'm pretty high on Quinn, no doubt.
Yeah, me too. I think this is definitely that year you got to show up, like this is your team. But joining us now is Eric Henry, the senior writer over at Horns 24/7. I'm going to kind of stick with that receiver room. How is Cook doing? And I've heard some great things about DeAndre Moore this spring. And so from what you've heard and seen, will he get the starting job over Golden? And do you think Bolden coming in late is going to, do you think he'll still be able to crack the starting lineup, or do you think it might be a little too late?
So really quick, big boy, when you say he being Jonte Cook.
Well, Jonte Cook, do you think Bolden will be able to crack it?
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
Like Cook. And what have you heard about Cook? Because we've heard a lot about the other guys, but Cook kind of just seems like it's steady. Like, yeah, don't worry, he's good type stuff. From what I heard.
And for the most part, it really kind of, and that's kind of the thing with Jonte burst on the scene the way he did last year. Everyone kind of, I'm not saying he's a proven commodity, but the way that they're talking about Jonte in camp now is the same way they were talking about Jonte after week 4, week 5 of the season. Steve Sarkisian said to us, after the Cotton Bowl, I was kicking myself for not getting that guy more playing time. It just was a matter of the receivers that he trusts in his receiver room being A.D. Mitchell, and of course, Jay Witt, right? So, I mean, Jonte, I don't think it's a matter of him kind of being stagnant or maybe like kind of hitting a ceiling. It's just a matter of he's just been that guy. The thing is, can he take another step forward in terms of beating out, as you talked about, right? Isaiah Bond or Matt Golden. We'll see what happens there. To your question about Silas Bolden, that's an interesting one. I genuinely think that's an interesting one because Ryan Wingo hit the ground running. Manny Muhammad today just said that guy looks like he's ready to play. He's fast, he's long, savvy, good route runner. Everyone's really high on Ryan Wingo. DeAndre Moore is a guy who, when I saw him for the limited availability we have, his physical frame is so much bigger than it was last year. I mean, he just looks like a guy who's ready to contribute in some form or fashion, right? Hell, even like a young guy like Parker Livingstone, super athletic, right? Not saying he's going to get playing time this year, but just talking about an early enrollee. So with Silas Bolden, this is just my experience, guys. I've been doing this 9 years. You don't leave an Oregon State with your final year of eligibility unless you have some assurance. And Steve Sarkisian will never say he's guaranteed anyone a starting spot. And I believe him. But you don't leave that type of situation without having some assurance that you're going to get some playing time, right? That's just what my gut tells me based on experience. And Silas is not, he's not like a A.D. Mitchell where he's a Texas guy coming over from Cali, right? I mean, he could have gone anywhere in the nation had he wanted to. He chose Texas. So my answer to that question is I do think it's going to be interesting to watch because Wingo's there and Jonte Cook is there, and Sark is a guy who isn't really known for being a lot of 10 personnel, right? He loves those tight ends. But at the end of the day, I do believe Silas Bolden's going to find his way in that rotation because I just don't think you jeopardize your final year of eligibility to not play.
And I just have one quick question for you. Do you think Jadon Blue has any shot to be like the guy, or is it leaning towards like a 50-50 split, or how?
My man, is tough because I'll admit I'm a little biased when it comes to CJ. I'm from Florida. Went to college in Orlando. I've seen CJ Baxter play for a while, and let's look at it like this. Steve Sarkisian named CJ Baxter the starting running back out of camp last year, and I don't want to say he was hesitant to go to Jonathan Brooks, but it wasn't until week 3, Wyoming game, when JB really showed that, and Sark had the confidence in him to make him the number 1 back, right? I'm only saying all that to say, I think Steve Sarkisian is going to give CJ Baxter every opportunity to, as it be the guy, because you're going to split carries. Like that's just CJ and Jaden are very open about they want to split carries. Like they're on the record as saying that, right? But in terms of Jaden maybe usurping CJ and being the number 1 back, I don't see it, and it's not because Jaden isn't doing what he's supposed to do. I just think this is my opinion. I think CJ Baxter is what Steve Sarkisian envisions in a running back, and that's not saying that CJ Baxter isn't good. If you're around him, the dude is 6'1", 220. And you look like you're looking at the next coming of Bijan Robinson, right? Wow. It's just a matter of him being healthy and putting it together. But I think, just my opinion, CJ is, not to say that Jaden isn't, but I think CJ is what Steve Sarkisian envisions in a frontline running back.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, that running back room's loaded, man. Even past those two, obviously going down to Wisner and then the 2 freshmen, Gibson and Clark. I mean, Gibson and Clark, those 2 dudes that are just like that. I mean, the choice compared them all year to Clark was like Bijan and Gibson's like Rojo. I mean, so they're as long as that room stays there, they're set up for the long run. But last, going over to different side of the ball, defensive side, in your opinion, and kind of like what you've seen so far. I know you kind of talked a little bit about the safety position, but what do you think that starting secondary is truly going to look like game 1 in DKR?
It's funny because I'm big on I'm really high on Gavin Holmes. I think Gavin Holmes he's not the flashiest player, but he's very steady. And I thought he kind of got overlooked a little bit in that secondary. And I think he's making a bit of a push to see if he can kind of challenge for that starting cornerback role. Because Manny Muhammad's going to be there. I mean, he's really kind of, I think he showed up as a freshman, especially towards the end of the year, and that he really kind of showed like he's ready to be that frontline cornerback, even though he only started 2 games last year. So I think between Terrence Brooks and Gavin Holmes, and it's not like, whoever doesn't start isn't going to play. You're going to play a bunch of DBs, but that's a starting job that I think is a little bit up for grabs in the fall. At the end of the day, I do think Terrence Brooks will start, but Gavin Holmes, everything we're hearing is having a really good camp. Now, as far as the safeties, I would love to sit here and give you some inside information or something super smart. Our sources have told us that they're running 2 sets of safeties, right? With Derek Williams and Michael Taff, and then Andrew Makuba kind of rounding out. But listen, they played 5 and sometimes 6 safeties last year. Between Taff, Derek Williams, Makuba, I mean, Jelani McDonald is making a push at safety. I mean, that room is loaded, and I really wonder, is it going to be a rotation again this year, or is it going to be, maybe closer to 2022 when you have a guy like Jaron Thompson who played over 700 snaps and was, the main safety back there with another the other safety kind of rotating out. We'll see. Again, like I don't think an Andrew Makuba, who's a 3-year starter at Clemson, leaves to not start. But Michael Taff, and I said this, I think it was on radio the other day. I think Michael Taff, the thing with walk-ons is we kind of typecast them, right? Like always a walk-on. And we talk about them as like being, gritty and super smart and doing those things. Michael Taff is really improved, like athletically. I mean, he's making strides and he's pushing for playing time. So in terms of, that safety room, I think it's going to be interesting. But I guess if I had to pin it today, I would go Makuba, Derek Williams as the starting safeties. But I think you're going to see 4 and 5 safeties throughout the season just because the room is so deep.
Yeah, for sure. And keep that room deep. That's good. But do you have any insight on any more guys that may enter the portal, and more specifically, any O linemen that you think will enter?
Okay, here's what I'm comfortable saying on a public call. And it's not because I want to hide it. It's just it's at that place where like it's source season and some people are telling you something, some people telling you the other.
Yeah.
I think you got to keep an eye on possibly an offensive lineman, a wide receiver, and possibly a corner, or I say a defensive back to possibly hit the portal before it's all said and done. Which guys? We're still kind of filling that out. I wouldn't feel right to name a guy just yet because it'd be speculative. But I think those are positions. We keep hearing possibly running back, but I just don't feel as solid about that just yet. I think, the 3 guys we talked about, right? Blue, Baxter, Wisner, they're all set. Savion Red still seemingly has a role on this offense, right? I mean, he was the guy for a stretch last year. He was the best short yardage option, that Texas had. So seemingly he has a role, and it's not like anyone's expecting Christian Clark or Jarrett Gibson to step in this year. So I don't think there'll be a move at running back. But yeah, the 3.
Wildcat Red, baby.
There you go.
Best down distance play there is.
hey, it was either that or the Sweat and Murphy package at times.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, but those are positions I would say keep an eye on right now in the portal.
Well, you did say corner, and then you switched it to defensive back. So there's some type of hint there, man. So
hey, that's why you got to go horns247.com. Keep up with the inside.
There you go. Yeah. Good plug.
That room is loaded.
There you go.
Yeah, it is. Again, joining us is Eric Henry, senior writer over at Horns 24/7. Y'all go sign up if you're not signed up already.
50% off day, 50% off yearly. Come on through.
There you go. You got an update on the transfers in basketball. And I know we got 3 of them. And have you heard anything on how solid Trey Johnson and Nicholas Cody as commits are?
I'm gonna take the back half of that first. Trey Johnson and we trust me, we keep checking in routinely. He's locked in. He will be at Texas. Of course, the situation with Cam Scott, I think that was a byproduct of kind of what you're seeing in the portal, with the fact that them knowing they were going to add some guards, and Cam being like, all right, well, why am I going to leave where I'm coming from, over in Lexington and come all the way to Texas if the situation is kind of fluid, right? But I believe that Trey Johnson, Nick Cody, very much locked in. As far as guys, keep an eye. Jordan Pope, Brandon Garrison. Our sources told us that Brandon Garrison is their number 1 big that they're targeting the portal, and they need sizable body. I mean, listen, they got Jason Kent, they get Julian Larry, and they get Tremont Mark, but they need, in my mind, just listen. If Caden Shedrick can stay healthy, you feel a little more confident. But I just think you need an athletic, sizable big. And Caden, I've stood next to Caden. He's 6'11", every bit of it, but probably closer to 215, 220 at times. I'm not sure where Caden's listed at, but he's not the most stout guy in the world. So I think you need a big in that sense. Brandon Garrison was their target. And again, Jordan Pope, listen, I think if they get him, that's a huge game changer in my mind. Right now, you're kind of walking with Julian Larry, seemingly being that point guard, and that was the position they needed to fill, of course, with Max Asmus leaving. But guys, really quick, and I did write this on the site. So again, if you haven't had a chance to check it out, go check it out. I'll give you a little taste of it here. The big, in my mind, addition with Tremont Mark, and to a lesser extent, Jason Kent, you're getting guys who are high efficiency shooters in different areas that Texas shot the ball last year. So Tyrese Hunter, Max Asmus, both 5'11", 6-foot guards, right? They both didn't have necessarily issues penetrating the defense, but because of their size limitations, their shot selection wasn't always great. And a lot of times they either, they hit below what would be the NCAA average. And again, go to the website, read the article, you get the full details of their shots at the rim or in the paint, right? They were below average. Whereas I think a guy like Tremont Mark, 6'6", 190, 195, was above NCAA average in terms of shots in the paint or at the rim, which the way they define at the rim is 4.5 feet from the rim or less. Very much a high efficiency shooter. I'm saying all that to say this. How many times in that Tennessee game they push, they make the comeback, and they just needed one bucket? And a lot of times you're relying on Max Asmus, Tyrese Hunter, long shot, long 2 or a 3 ball, or Dylan Dessou kind of shooting his mid-range 2. If that jumper isn't going, they weren't getting the offense they needed, especially with a guy like Dylan Mitchell, whose offense wasn't necessarily evolved, right? Now you get a guy like Mark and Kent, both 6'6", 6'7", who they can get into the paint and get high percentage shots. I think that's huge for Texas this year.
For sure. Well, last little quick one for you before we let you get out of here. Just a little yes or no. Obviously, UT baseball on the struggle bus. Series with TCU this weekend, and then at OU the next weekend. Yes or no, is Coach Pierce, you think, in your eyes, returning after the season's over?
It's funny because I don't cover baseball really. That's Jeff Howe's beat. However, I can give you an answer just because I've been around the 40 acres. Here's the thing. When you're David Pierce and you make the decision, you're going to get rid of Willie Williams and you're going to take over the pitching. Yeah. It can't look like this. Yeah. So that, in my mind, is where it gets a little dicey. So to answer your question, if they don't come out of these series looking reasonable, I think CDC almost has to make a change entering the SEC, which damn well is a strong baseball league.
Yeah.
Especially if the pitching, like you said, and that's the problem. I mean,
SEC is top 4 right now, everything. So
well, and CDC has been pretty good on all the new hires that he's had to bring in. So, we'll see what happens. But Eric, we appreciate you coming on. Everyone watching, go tune in to Horns 24/7. Like you said, they got that deal going on right now. Become an annual member. Obviously, I got mine, so y'all need to go get yours. But Eric, we appreciate you coming on, man.
Anytime, fellas. Y'all take care.
Thanks, Eric.
Hey, brother.
See you soon, buddy. Thank you.
All right.
That's our number one repeat guest right there. That's about 5 times now, man. Every time he kills it.
My man, Eric Henry, Orange 24/7, senior writer. But there it is for you. Before we go on to our other topics, that was Kobe's first time listening to one of our guests like that and talking ball.
Next national champions, right, Kobe? Is that what you heard?
I don't know, but that dude does sound like he knows exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah.
Can't put it all out there. Him and Chip are hiding in dumpsters getting information and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But no, that's I wanted to kind of backdoor with like how Barron and you know, is he going to be the only playing star, or is he going to move around to safety too? Because they said
Gilbo.
McDonald's looking good.
Gilbo,
yeah.
Star. Yeah.
Oh.
No, and that's why I wasn't shocked when he said O-line, wide receiver, and DB, because those three, besides, and obviously throwing running back, the only running back I would see would be Red. That's it. There's no way the 2 freshmen who just got there leave. And Trey's not leaving, and the top 2 dudes aren't leaving. So it's
like you said, Red does have a spot. Like he has.
Yeah, but
he also came in extremely overweight.
I think he's kind of in the doghouse. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think
those 3 positions make sense because they're loaded, and new dudes that came in are I mean, we saw it on the edge position too with like Tap and dudes like that entering the portal. Dudes who are good, but they're in their redshirt sophomore year, and they're still not a starter. They feel like they need to go start somewhere. So, I mean, props to them, go start somewhere, but it's just the nature of the beast now.
That's like losing Billy Walton, man. I love that kid.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be good somewhere. He came in a little undersized and needed to gain weight, you know, and Tap too. You know how I feel about Tap, man. That was my dude, but
man,
go start somewhere.
Andrew Makuba is a stud. I've seen him play a lot. He's really, really good, man. So
yeah, that's the Taft thing is true though. I mean, I like Taft, but it's like I don't know, man. I like Williams and Makuba back there. I think that's what it's going to end up being.
Yeah, and I mean, can't forget obviously about McDonald, but they got a whole Xavier, the true freshman,
Phil Sameen,
5-star. Yeah. But you know, that was the talk. But this came up on my Twitter. It wasn't the thing we were going to talk about, but it came up. I just sent the Coop.
What, Caitlin Clark something?
No,
what?
You know
we can talk about Caitlin Clark for another 10 minutes.
Not yet. You know, it has to do with Jerry Jones.
I hate her about everything, man.
Joining us in about 15 minutes or so will be our roundtable chat. Stay tuned for that. But anyways, has to do with Jerry Jones. College Basketball Report is tweeting that Jerry Jones is reportedly offering double whatever the Kentucky commits were making to come to Arkansas. And then the caption of the dude, Ernie, the Cowboys fan, says, "I wish Jerry Jones was a Cowboys booster too."
Yeah, that was about what I was about to say. I mean, again, J.K. Dobbins got picked up for peanuts. Why couldn't we go get him? You know, I said that from the beginning. I'd love to see J.K. Dobbins back in Texas.
Nah, man,
I don't want to get rolling on that, dude.
Y'all got
what's his name?
Don't even know it.
The guy from the Rams. Just say that. The guy
played for the Texans too.
I saw a thing. Their running backs, I think, total last year had about 500 yards between all 3 of them. So we're looking good there, guys.
Yeah.
Our running backs.
That's a good room right there, man. It's a good room.
Hey.
It's all right. Dak's gonna put it on his shoulders, though, right? Right.
Oh, yikes! No, he's not. But if y'all had Josh Allen, oh yeah,
yeah, because Josh Allen could do both.
Yeah,
because
he had
Josh
18
Allen's,
interceptions and like 10 fumbles too. So
okay, but he's also the first player ever to have 40+ touchdowns in 4 straight years. So
okay. And you give back 10 of them, so let's just go ahead and take that out too.
I don't think that's how that works.
Well, when you have 30 turnovers They're probably scoring about 10 touchdowns.
He's still the first player to ever do that. And
Okay.
can't
Whatever.
say that's not
And they play more
impressive.
games now. So
Can't say that's not impressive.
it's very impressive.
Yeah, I know.
But Dax wasn't, right? Dax season last year wasn't, was it?
What has Dak done?
Bro, I mean, you can't win them all by yourself, brother. I mean, we've been through this, and
What do
let's
you
just not
mean
go
by
back on
yourself?
this same deal over
He's
and over.
literally always had a great
Yeah.
offensive line, a
You're
good
right.
running
Yeah,
game.
it's all Dak's fault. You're 100% right.
I'm not saying it's all.
It's all Dak's fault. Get rid of him. Yeah, you're right. He sucks.
Well, you've been saying that's what you
because you have to start over because you were in such a financial bind. There's nothing else you can do.
Well, it's too bad he sucks and no one wants to trade for him. So I don't know.
Yeah, how many people jumped on Lamar last year? 0.
Strange. Yeah. And he came back and said, all y'all boys are stupid. And he went off.
And Dak got second behind him in MVP voting. So
bring up your
next question.
Next question.
Well, what do you want to go to? We have what? 15 minutes? What do you want to go to?
Go to your start bench.
All right, start bench cut. We're going in the primes. We're going to start at the quarterback position, all in the primes. This is the best seasons they have, each one of them. Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Peyton Manning, in their prime, start bench cut. Here we go. Start it off. Someone.
There's so many questions. I have like so many. Okay, one. Are we basing off of stats, or are we basing off of just that season?
If
you have one season, you got all 3 quarterbacks.
Yes, you have one season. You're the coach. You get all 3 quarterbacks
when they had their
best season that they had. Yeah, their best year that they had.
But not stats. You're the coach, and you just say, "I have 3 quarterbacks.
Yep.
This is what I'm doing."
Yep. For their best season.
Yep.
Tom Brady, that one year when he had Moss,
broke every record.
You cannot top that year. So I'll put him there.
Yep.
And even though I think that Pat Mahomes is already the greatest of all time, I would put Peyton Manning at 2 because Peyton also had the one year that was insane. And Patty has had great years, but not those types of years yet. So 1, 2, and 3.
That's what I would have to do also. I just think Manning is a different cat also, but I would have to go Brady, Manning, and then Pat.
I think it was his first year with the Broncos. I think, dude, he had like 50 plus. Like he was throwing like 4 or 5 touchdowns every single game, and he didn't have a Randy Moss, so that might even I don't know.
To me, Peyton Manning is the smartest quarterback to ever play, as far as I see. And that's why it's so hard for even to – I know what Brady is and I know what he did. But, man, to me, the best quarterback, it might be Peyton ever. And I know the wins, you're going to say, well, Brady automatically. But, dude, Peyton to me is a computer, man. I just –
He's the reason why the Texans drafted J.J. Watt. Like, he's literally the reason. Because every single year it was 2 times. He sit there, we're technology. He'd be screaming for 5 fucking minutes and then snap the ball and score. He did it. He would dominate the Texans. I as soon as they traded him, I cried because I was so happy.
Everybody did back then, though. But
he was so good.
One thing about Manning is like he gets the shotgun snap. And if he's about to get sacked, he's going to drop. And he's like, cool, I'll get 2nd and 15. I'm not worried about it. That was the thing about him all the time, man. He would just jump down to the ground, be like, okay, and then get the first down. It was
that is true.
Every time. And that's like Aaron Rodgers. Like Aaron Rodgers is up there to me too, but he got 1 Super Bowl, you know?
Dude, I would pay Peyton Manning the highest fucking head coach salary in the league right now. Like, I don't care. I would hire him.
He's making too much money with Omaha Productions, man. He ain't trying to be in He's living life, bro.
Their Monday night cast is pretty good.
I love it. I watch it.
They need-
I watch
That's the
that
only
every
one I
week.
watch.
I mean, I guess they don't need to, but it would be cool if they did a podcast like how Kelsey's do.
Did you hear that they're the Omaha is getting with Belichick, and I think he's going to be on one on the Monday night with them.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I saw Belichick's going on with Pat for
Pat.
draft.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
Should be interesting.
Maybe he'll break out of his shell and kind of, I think Pat will get him out. You know?
Oh yeah. I'll go with Tom at 1. Start Tom.
The only one right answer.
I'm gonna have to bench Pat and cut Peyton, but
Oh.
Tom's only starting Coop until Pat wins number 3.
Tom will always start over Patrick Mahomes.
No.
So we're gonna get that straight.
No.
Always and forever. I don't care.
Uh-huh.
It's the same thing with the MJ LeBron thing. I'm gonna take MJ every time. It doesn't matter what LeBron.
You weren't
does.
even alive. Shut up.
I know, but
But he
still.
knows.
Literally have.
But I
No.
know.
He knows.
I know what he did. Like
He was a stone cold
it's
killer.
the same thing. It's the same
He's
thing.
the
It's the
OJ
same
of
exact
basketball.
thing as Tom Brady just changed the game. It doesn't that's just how it is. And so I'm going Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and then Patrick Mahomes. And
I thought that was going to be a discussion. I figured one of y'all would say Mahomes, but
yeah, I honestly thought Kobe was going to say Mahomes to start.
Not until he wins it next year. He's gonna go off next year with Xavier Worthy as his wide receiver 1.
No, that is the one thing. I hope that he does not get Worthy because
why? That'd be good for Worthy.
Huh?
Yeah.
Be good for Worthy.
it would
Yeah,
be.
but it'd be bad for the Texans.
It would be bad for everyone, Kobe.
Y'all
It would
got to
be
get
bad for
there
everyone.
first.
Mhm.
The next one I got in their prime, same thing. Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski, and George Kittle. Start bench cut in their primes, best seasons.
I'm Gronk, Kelsey, Kittle. I love Gronk, and I think Kelsey is probably a better natural receiver than him. But, when it comes to blocking and, I just love Gronk. So he's always going to be number 1 for me.
Yeah.
And then, Kelsey, he's a great receiver. His blocking is questionable. That's the thing about Kittle. He'll do anything. He's more like Gronk in that. He'll block you. He's a dog.
Would you call Kelsey the greatest of all time or no?
Man, he's there, dude. Like,
Yeah.
He just put Rob in front of him though.
yeah. I like Rob more as a tight end, but
Yeah,
Kelsey's not really like a tight end to
I
me.
get
Like
that. I get that.
but Kelsey is, man. Dude, when it comes to finding zones and holes in the way
Best ever to do it. I mean,
the way,
he's truly,
I think one of the big differences too is like Gronk and Brady, and then Mahomes and Kelsey. They've been doing it so long together, like they know where each other are going to be and what they want to do.
Yeah.
Like Kittle doesn't have that really with anybody yet.
right.
But I mean, I still would, I like Kittle. He's awesome, but that's what I'd go.
Bro,
I'd probably go I would go Kelsey, Gronk, and then I think we would all cut Kittle.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a Hawkeye.
Yeah. But I mean still, man.
Yeah, I'll stick with that same too.
Yeah.
Kittle's just not there yet, but we'll see. We'll see what
And
Kelsey won for sure.
For sure. Like, no doubt.
Over Gronk, I think over Gronk, yeah. I think there's some other tight ends that are better out there than Gronk. Not obviously not currently, but in the past. I think.
Yeah.
Like
I would
Antonio Gates or what?
I think people forget
Again,
about
he can't, none of them can block like Gronk either. So if you
All
want
right.
to say tight end,
No, I get what Big Boy's saying though. Like, I would have to go with Kelsey's too because just how good he is at, finding holes and stuff like that.
Playmaker.
And it's just a different type of football though. It's a different type of football.
You can go
Right.
watch some Gronk highlight tapes and watch what he did. You might have been a little too young.
That
for
is
some
true.
of those points.
Yeah, that
That
is true.
dude was a playmaker
He was
at
he
his
was.
size.
He also had the greatest of all time too at quarterback, better than Patrick Mahomes too. So
We got
I'll
about
tell you what,
4
man.
minutes, real quick. We got about 4 minutes till our special guest joins. Kobe, you can say what you're about to say, and then I want to get your quick
Here we
thoughts.
go. What is this going to be?
No,
Well,
I don't know what he's about
real
to say,
quick.
and then I want to get your quick thoughts on what happened with UFC 300.
Oh yeah. Real quick though, I think people forget Tony Gonzalez was
Yeah.
a stud. Like he was kind of Gronk before Gronk, and because he blocked and all that too, and he never really had like an elite QB, right? Because I mean, he played for the Chiefs, but the Chiefs didn't have a great quarterback, I
No.
feel like.
No.
And then he played for Atlanta for a long
Yeah.
time. But yeah, man, he was a
Tony
stud.
Gonzalez, yeah. And he had all the records, you
Yeah.
know, before
Yes.
all these current guys started breaking them. Yeah.
But man,
Quick
UFC
thoughts,
300,
UFC 300.
Cooper, what do you think about that card?
the greatest card I've ever seen in my life, Kobe.
Yeah.
Greatest card I've ever seen in my life. There was only a couple fights that were like, but overall, bro,
Slower fight, yeah.
overall, as a
Oh,
card,
good.
it's not even close. I mean,
Yeah.
it really is not even close. And shout out to freaking Max and Justin, man. That was one of the greatest fights I've ever seen.
Shout out to Justin. Because
Shout out to Justin.
sucks, man, because I don't think he'll ever have a shot at being a champion now. Like he kind of saw this as his last run, so that sucks. But
He had
man,
everything to lose,
he's
too. You know what I'm
still
saying?
he's a Hall of Famer. So
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah. But
And you take away the spinning back kick to the nose, like, that's a different fight to me. You know what I'm
and
saying?
Max poked him in the eye too.
Twice, not once, twice.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, 284 significant strikes in total in the whole fight between the two of them. It was just a freaking haymakers, man. It was crazy.
That's
But
yeah.
and then
I went,
obviously that
I
last second
I didn't
KO.
watch one clip of it besides the knockout. That's it.
such a dweeb, Cade.
Yeah, no.
That's why when you and Cooper fought, he
Oh,
smacked your
God.
ass.
Get,
But
get off the pod. Get off the pod.
I just have two things to say. One, it sucks, man. Charles, not only was he the reason I didn't win $2,600, I hate him now. Also, he's never gonna be champion again, and that honestly breaks my heart. Like he was the perfect freaking champion. But two, Max Holloway. Who do you want to see? I want to see. You know who? You know who, Cooper? Him and Connor would sell, especially after that. He would beat the fuck out of Connor for 5 rounds.
I don't know if you remember the first time they fought, but Connor out wrestled him.
Dude,
it
was
Connor out wrestled him. How do you get out wrestled? How do you get out wrestled by Conor McGregor? No. How do you get out wrestled by Conor McGregor?
9 years ago, brother.
It was longer than that, but yeah.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
No, but
I would love to see
going
that fight.
going to the main event, Alex Pereira, man. Freaking he's a dog, bro.
Hill was talking all that shit and looked
Oh
stupid.
no, man. And he came out, he got kicked in the nuts. He said, No.
That'd
Let
be
me
like
just knock your ass out.
How Ryan over here always wants to talk shit to me, right? I swear, the next time I see him, Ryan.
And hey,
this ain't TV.
Come.
This ain't one of your video games.
And it wasn't even like he hit him with his full hand. He hit him with like 3 fingers and he knocked him out.
Technique,
crazy.
Like it looks either really good or it looks awful. But if he lands, dude,
it's crazy. And he's talking about going up
Crazy,
to heavyweight too now.
Him and Tom Aspinall is the fight I want to see.
That would be crazy.
I would take Tom Aspinall.
Well, there's the UFC recap from our 2 UFC nerds over here on our right side.
Great card. One of the best ever.
But joining us coming up right now is going to be our roundtable chat of the week. All right. Joining us now for this week's roundtable chat is current senior University of Texas softball player Bella Dayton as a starting outfielder. Currently, Bella this year is having best year at the plate with a 366 average on the season so far. But how are we doing?
Pretty good. Definitely comparison to the past. Not just me, but the whole lineup. Our averages are pretty even and kind of around each other. So we know we're doing our job and we're moving people around the bases. So we're pretty excited.
There we go. Well,
Awesome.
We appreciate you joining us on. We've this is our third week of roundtable chat female edition. We started off with Vanderbilt track, and then last week Trinity Cannon over at Texas A&M. We had her on. I'm not sure if you know her from the Dallas area, but so we had the hop sides, hop on over. But we appreciate you coming on. But kind of get us started off. Tell us just about your journey in softball and how you ended up at Texas.
Yeah, so definitely during the whole recruiting process, like when I was younger, like you could commit in the 8th grade. So like recruiting started pretty early. I committed to Ole Miss as a freshman in high school, and then throughout, growing up in high school, I just got to a point where I didn't feel like it was right for me. So I decommitted, and it just so happened that, I ended up knowing a coach, or a coach knew me at Arizona. So she recruited me from there. So I went on a visit there, loved the coaching staff and the coach that was there. He was like the most winningest, and I wanted to be a part of that. So ended up there, and then just a couple years in, including COVID year, I just reevaluated my life, kind of what I was looking for and what I wanted my future to hold. So I just made another decision to leave and find where, my life would be happier, comfortable, maybe closer to family, just because I'm from the Dallas area, and it just worked out in my favor. So
nice. Can you tell us a little about the 3 years you've been at Texas, and like what areas you've grown in, like just being closer to home, kind of like you said, maybe?
Yeah, 3 years. I mean, I was a mid-year transfer, so that first year that I was at Texas, it was just for 6 months, and being able to go to the World Series and kind of coming into a culture that's already been set and a team that's, already pretty like been identified as a whole throughout that whole fall season, and missing that, I kind of just had to come in with an open mind, knowing that, opportunities might not be given from the jump, but to work hard. And that's what I did. And everybody, was there for each other, and kind of the leadership that I was looking for, showed up. And Haley Dolcini, one of my good friends, she was also a mid-year transfer, but it was her last year. So she was looking for pretty much the same things I was. So being able to come in with somebody who had the same mindset was super great. Being close to home has been great. I have a lot of family in Austin already, so being able to be around them after only seeing them, maybe just a couple times throughout the year, but having fans there pretty much every weekend, and my family being only 3 hours, that just meant a lot to me because I'm just a family-oriented, individual. So
Right. And you're at the University of Texas, the new #1 team in the nation. Sorry, Kate. But can you walk us through a little typical day in the life as a student athlete at the University of Texas on the 40 acres?
yeah, for us, it varies from the fall to the spring. Like practice schedules are different, just depending on, the off season and in season. I would say in season, it varies on our weight schedule, just because, we travel a lot. We have our off day on Monday, which is kind of just optional, whether you want to get your work in or not, that's solely up to you. Tuesday through Thursday, unless we play on Wednesdays, would probably be just like weights in the morning, 7:30 to 8:30. You have class from 8:39 to 2:30, and then you have practice from 2:30 to 5:30. After that, I give lessons, so I'm working from like 6:30 to 9 on some days. But during season, yeah, I know. During season, I try to only work Mondays and Tuesdays, give myself, sometimes before game days, and then fall is pretty much full send in the afternoons.
That's
there you
crazy.
go. That's a student athlete right there.
That's some days right there, man. That's wild.
Well, kind of next one. How do you mentally prepare for kind of these games to give against these tough opponents? Obviously, it's been a big topic this year with how strong y'all's non-conference schedule really was, whether it was a weekend series tournament or even just a midweek game like going down to LSU or Florida State. And then obviously the conference schedule you'll have this year as well.
Yeah, I think in the past, there's been some moments where like maybe our schedule wasn't as tough and not that it hurt us in postseason, but RPI kind of really matters. And some of those games that are some of the harder competition that we had in the past, maybe we just fell short and then our competition on other days just wasn't as great, but we came up on top. So I just think having the whole change in schedule and having the tough schedule we did, I don't think in the beginning we were scared of it at all. I think we were actually happy because you never know who you're going to have in the postseason, and to be able to play all those teams and then potentially have a chance to face them again. Like we already are 1 foot in the door. Like we face them, we know what we're going up against. And so again, to have that opportunity to face those potential teams again is great for us. Mentally preparing, shoot, I mean, we watch film and we really study our pitchers, and just us as individuals, we have tons of film to watch on ourselves and just how we hit and just what we're hunting and looking for from each pitcher that we face, whether it's, their fourth string or their ace. You never know who we're going to get. So that's kind of what we do. Everybody has their own personal way of going around things and what they tell themselves and what they look for each and every game. But at the end of the day, we all come together. We communicate very well about what we're seeing and what the pitchers look like. And obviously that's been helping us really, really well so far.
No doubt. Again, joining us is current senior University of Texas softball player Bella Dayton. Do the two eye black under the left eye, what does that symbolize? Or is that just a little statement? What is that?
It's honestly just a statement. I've had a lot of people ask me that actually. And World Series year, I never wore eye black in the past. When I was at Arizona, there was a lot of different rules and things that we had to go about. So coming to Texas and knowing that, there's a lot of open space and a lot of things you can do for yourself, I was like, you know what? I'll try new things. So I think I went through like 5 to 10 different eye black styles, and I'm very superstitious. So that's the one that worked, and I just kept it World Series. So I'm like, maybe it'll happen again.
There you go.
You got to keep it going because it's working. It's working. You got to keep it going. But after dropping game 1 versus OU, what was the locker room like after that first game? And then how did y'all kind of keep y'all's composure to come back and win games 2 and 3 to win the series?
Yeah, no, obviously we face them every year, and it is a rivalry and there's a lot of fans, but to know we were on our home field and to know the fan base that we did have and just how many people showed up, like the fans were waiting for us to do something. They were waiting for something great to happen. And I think like, yes, like my team wants something great to happen, but to have people there to be rooting for you and to be just solely happy for you, I think that was always in the back of our head, like going there with great mindset. I think the first day that maybe a couple of people had, the jitters, but other than that, we came in strong. We knew who we were facing. We knew the plots, we knew the pitches to look for, and it's just another day at the field. Like it's not like we've never played the game before. So I think we came in with a strong mindset. The locker room afterwards wasn't down. It wasn't like, oh, not that we can't do it. It was like an I can mindset and we will. So that was great. And then again, the fan base, we love it. The fan base is great to travel with too. Like they're always there to support us. So
yeah,
there you go. Well, with y'all obviously currently ranked now as number 1, kind of not necessarily changes your mindset, but obviously maybe a little bit of added pressure. But kind of what is that mindset the rest of the season to make sure y'all do continue to stay on that path and achieve the goals that y'all had at the start of the season? Obviously, making it to Oklahoma City first and then ultimately winning it all.
Yeah, no, we definitely. I mean, obviously, it's great to be number 1, but I don't think that like in the preseason that was necessarily our goal. Our goal is definitely the World Series and becoming national champions. And this is just something great that has happened along the way. We just go in every weekend, with the mindset of like anything is possible, any team is beatable, especially us. So like obviously we had a moment at the beginning of the season against Houston where we were number one, and we had that for about 5 days. So we lived and we learned through that one, and so we're holding strong onto this one, and again going through each weekend with the mindset of like everybody we face wants to beat us, so we can't show up, flat-footed and dragging our feet, because everybody does want to beat us. And I mean, we want to win just as bad, so we have to show up every day and prove that.
Oh yeah. Joining us is current senior University of Texas softball player Bella Dayton. It said your major is physical culture and sports. So what is that exactly, and what's the plan when your playing days are done?
Oh boy. I've gone through about 4 majors. I've never really had a dream job. I've come across so many things that I'm like, okay, maybe I'll enjoy that, or I really am interested in that, but nothing has like popped out to me like, yes, I will be doing that. I always grew up wanting to be like a doctor, but that schooling with playing a sport was super tough for me in the beginning, so I switched that path. Right now, I do plan to play for the Italian team. I'm about to get my citizenship for that in like the next month or so. So playing for Team Italy, which is pretty much just a summer thing. So obviously, I will need to have a job. But lessons pays good. I mean, full time, not something that I want to do, but just on the side, like it brings in good money. I just applied to the fire academy, so we are seeing how that goes and just how that application process goes. But as of right now, hoping to become a firefighter. If not,
are you going to have to
really
move
sure.
to Italy to play for them, or?
No. So the Italian team, it's pretty much just a month in the summer as of right now. After the 2024 Olympics go through, obviously softball didn't make that round, but they did come out with it that softball will be in the 2028 Olympics. It's in LA, so they have all the platforms to use. So hopefully we'll train for that and just go through all the qualifiers and stuff, and hopefully Italy makes it. So
I wanted to get your hopes up on playing in LA, just by the way, because the one stadium that they're probably going to push that to. All the Olympics are in LA besides softball. So
yeah,
I mean, it's a stadium well. That's fair.
She said,
I guess she's not like it. She maybe she hates the stadium, but that's all right,
Or maybe she just hates the state. You ever think about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, it's cool. It's okay. Me and Big Boy hate the state too. It's cool. We get it. It's all right.
Hey, it has its pretty parts, but I would never live there.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's just say that.
Well, make it back. Make it back your final year. You can hook us up with some tickets, maybe. Come to the World Series.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's all. And then you can leave. That's fine. But we'll end it on that note. But last question, kind of before we let you go. I had you kind of already talked about, obviously, that first World Series was a very memorable moment, and I thought about this question just now, and I have to ask it just because on Twitter, especially last year, your head coach Mike White's very outgoing guy. everyone knows that. What is it like playing for him, like behind the curtains? What people don't see, obviously what they see on Twitter is obviously different than what it is behind the curtains, but what's that kind of like?
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people have opinions on him, and obviously it's your personal path that you go through and your experiences, but being with him every day, he was in the bullpen a lot in the past because, he is solely pitching, and then would come into, more position wise, kind of sporadically. Now that we do have a pitching coach and he kind of is just on the side of that, he does work a lot with us on the field, kind of just, throwing out his tips and viewpoints of what he sees and what he's looking for. a lot of times pregame, he gives us the rundown and he always comes in with quotes and just, motivational like things to put in our heads and just like where we're at and how proud he is of us and just how far we've come. Obviously he's coached for a long time and he's experienced so many things. But I think like the road that we are on now, he's very grateful and very happy for us. And he's been more vocal about it, so like we're very appreciative of it and just how far he's come with the teams that I've been a part of in the past years and just being more social and interactive with us. Again, we're very grateful and appreciative, and I think that a lot of people don't see like maybe him doing that or maybe him giving out the motivational spill and being kind and just trying to be a funny guy, but definitely it's there.
For sure.
It's there.
Well, we appreciate you joining us this week, and obviously you have to be here for the Big 12 tournament. So, and then hopefully the World Series happens. Me and I will have to pop out, and maybe we'll get these two dorks down here to come up and see a game. But we're trying to get them on the softball train. These two down below. So we'll maybe if we have some.
If John Boy can be on the softball train, you can be on the softball train.
There we go.
All in.
Well, Bella, we appreciate you joining us. Good luck the rest of the season going into the Big 12 tournament here in less than a month now. So, and then obviously into
like
the World
3
Series.
weeks.
Yeah. So we'll good luck and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Of course. Thanks, guys.
All right, that was our roundtable chat with Bella Dayton.
It was a good one, man. It was a good one.
We'll have to go
Welcome.
either see her in the Big 12 tournament or the World Series. We'll see whichever one she hooks us up with, pretty much. But
For sure.
that was the Sports Roundtable Trio Edition. Follow the socials. Clips are coming out. We'll have some clips, of course, of this one, the top ones. Did we even mentioned our best view clip ever, guys? I forgot until just
On
now.
Instagram, man.
130K views on Instagram.
There you go.
Insane.
Like and subscribe. Help us out, man. Tell your friends. Tell your kids.
We're gonna keep the guests coming. They're all coming. Obviously, next Thursday's NFL draft. That's gonna be majority of the show. So stay tuned for next Friday for our recap of while we kind of watch the draft live almost. So other than that, like, subscribe. What else I gotta do, big boy?
Ring that bell.
Ring the bell. But have a great weekend. Watch whatever sports it may be. College baseball, college softball. I guess that's really all that's important.
Not it right now.
Oh, no. NBA playoffs start this weekend.
Yeah.
We can talk about that next.
What about your WNBA? Is that starting up?
It's like May.
Okay.
It's like a month.
Oh, we didn't talk about that, but we talk about that all the time. But
Caitlin Clark, first game of the season. It's in Dallas, actually, at the Dallas Wings. I do know that.
She got paid.
She got
paid $10 million. We'll talk about that next week. Stay tuned. Hope you enjoyed the show and our guest, of course, Orange 24/7, Eric Henry, and then University of Texas' own softball player, Bella Dayton. But we'll see you next week. Until then, peace.